Hi, I'm Tony Paget. It's Sunday, August 4th, 2019, and I'm back after a long hiatus from my MetaFast program. Well, the last time I checked in was April 1st, 2018, and about a couple weeks later, I had a life changing event that I'm not going to go into much. It really doesn't concern much about the weight loss program overall, but things did happen in my life where I just stopped the program. I was eating and drinking anything I kind of wanted to do, and 15 months later, here I am. Um, so about a few months ago, I was not feeling really good about myself. I knew I was gaining weight, and I was checking in once in a while to see how much I weighed, but I continued that upward path, steady upward path of gaining more and more weight. And I got to a point where I just said, I don't like the way my clothes are fitting. I don't like the way I'm running out of breath climbing upstairs to get out of the subway. It just didn't feel good about how my weight was getting. Now I didn't get back to the overall weight that I first started out when I first started the MetaFast program, but it was gradually going up, and I got to the point where I said, enough is enough. I need to get back on a program. So I did try to go back on the MetaFast program back in December. Did it for a couple weeks, but there was something different. My wife and my son are not with me here where I'm at now. They will be joining me about a year later. My wife hasn't left me, anything like that. But you know, I just the food just didn't taste that good. It never tasted that good to begin with. I was by myself. My wife wasn't here to help cook some very nice. She's a great cook. Really nice green, lean green meal, so I didn't have that to look forward to. So it just wasn't working for me. Plus, I had to order it and get it shipped in. It was quite costly, and I decided to stop that back in December. Didn't really help. It maintained, lost a little weight, but it wasn't the greatest long-term plan. So I decided to do something a little bit new, which was I saw these commercials about Noom, or Noom, I guess it's called, and I read a few reviews, and I thought, well, let me just give it a try. It looks like it's basically tracking your weight, a little bit more mindfulness about what you eat, some coaching along the way, 2-week free trial, don't have to buy any food. Okay, let's give it a try. So that's what I did. Let's start off with the stats. When I first started the program, the Noom program, about 5 days ago, my weight started off at 264.4 pounds. So I gained about 28 pounds over a span of about 15 months since I last weighed in with MetaFast. That comes to about half pound a week, roughly 4 pounds a month. I mean, the math is not exact, but it should give you a good feeling about how this weight, when you go off your weight program, it can, even though you're just gaining a little bit, maybe for very skinny people, half pound's quite a bit, but for bigger people, half pound's like, oh, it's half pound. So you go up little by little, and it just sneaks up to tell you until next thing you're 28 pounds heavier than you were 15 months ago. Now I'm surprised I haven't gained more than that, to be honest. I thought I would gain 6-7 pounds a month the way I was eating. I was eating anything I liked, and good that I had originally gone on the program and cut that weight off when the life-changing event happened. I had some way to go back up. I didn't go back up to my heaviest, which was 283 pounds roughly, so I'm happy with that. But let's look at the weekly chart. Again, this is not a full week. This is starting back in Wednesday, where I started the program. I started off, as I said before, at 264.4 pounds. My current weight today is 258.2 pounds. So I lost 6.2 pounds in about 5 days. Now I don't expect that to continue, to losing that weight so quickly. Just like with MetaFast, I think I lost 11 pounds in the first week. Most of that is your water weight and getting the junk out of your body. But especially you can see the last day, the day before today and today, I only lost about 2.2 pounds. So again, I don't think that this is going to continue. I think the weight loss is going to continue, but not at the dramatic pace that I've seen. So overall, I'm feeling good that I started a program. Just overall from a feeling perspective, I don't feel as hungry as I did with MetaFast. I don't feel as restricted because I can kind of eat what I want. I'll talk about the program in a moment. You just got to mind your calories and your intake. Before I start talking about the program, I like to make sure people understand Noom is not sponsoring me whatsoever. I don't even have an affiliate link. I don't care about that. I just want to give you my true, upfront, frank opinion about Noom and how it's working for me. Maybe it'll help you out. So, how did I start? Well, I signed up on their website. I found it easier than doing the app. I answered a bunch of questions. It took me about 10-15 minutes to answer the questions. They talk about your weight, your height, how old you are, your basic kind of lifestyle and eating habits, any dietary restrictions, whether you have diabetes, etc. Do you any have health problems like a bad back, if I'm remembering correctly. And once you type all this stuff in, it then takes about a minute. You can see this progress bar where it goes like it's thinking about what kind of program. I'm not so, it looks like a little bit dodgy to me. I don't think that computers take that long to crunch 20 questions to come up with a plan. I think it was more of a gimmick than anything else. Then if I'm remembering correctly, it says, hey, you can get to your goal weight, which I'm setting at 235, by the way, which is the weight that I left off with the last time in MetaFast, and I was feeling good about myself. I said you can get to your goal weight in about 4 months' time. And we'll give you a 2-week free trial, but it's going to cost you, if I'm remembering correctly, $200 4 months after, for the next 4 months after that. And I said, $200. Maybe I'd go back on the MetaFast program. I don't know. I mean, it's a little bit steep. $200 for 4 months. If you do that for a full year, that's going to be times 4 times 3. It's going to be $600 a year on just an app program. And I thought, let me think about it. And a day later, boom, in comes an email in my inbox that says, hey, we'll give you half off. That's our commitment to you or something. Oh, okay. So my hint to you is when you sign to do the preliminary questions, don't sign up right away. Don't put any credit card information in. Wait a day or two and see if you get a half off like I did. So, compared to MetaFast, there's no food to buy, as you might have noticed or what I've hinted at over the past couple minutes I've been talking. You monitor yourself. It's very similar to MyFitnessPal, where you're tracking your calories. They have you weigh in the morning, and then you have 6 meals tracked a day. It didn't really explain about the 6 meals. I don't think I remember seeing anything about why 6 meals or anything like that. They did give you some information, which I'll talk about in a moment. But anyway, they give you breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack. You weigh in, you track your food 6 times a day. And they have something, their whole theory is around calorie density, which is number of calories over the weight. And they give an example, it's a very easy example to follow, is a pound of raisins will have more calories than a pound of grapes. They're the same thing, but raisins are more dense, or denser, and you'll have more calories overall weight. And so the idea is, if you have less dense foods, you're going to feel more satisfied. You're going to feel more full than you will with grapes, which are denser, and you'll eat more of. Okay, let's see what happens. They also categorize foods by red, yellow, green, which is kind of helpful. Which is reds are again less dense. Greens are, other way around. Greens are less dense. Reds are really dense. Interesting enough, roasted potatoes are considered green. A baked potato, I guess, would consider green. I'll give you more of that as we go along and my feeling about that scale. But it's a good way, rather than getting too intense and thinking about calories, of giving you just kind of a general ballpark to go by. Let's see. Every morning, and let's go back, as I was saying, I'm checking myself in weight. I have on my phone and an Apple Watch. If you don't have this, you can manually type it in. If not, if you got it hooked up, your app, in your scale hooked up, that goes to your Apple Health app, it'll automatically show up in the Noom app. Noom. I'm going to say Noom and Noom. Sorry, I'm going to get those wrong. That's why they're not sponsoring me. So, you also have to add in your exercise manually if your phone doesn't track it for you automatically. Now on the Apple Watch, I type in, I do stationary bike, I hit the bike thing, and it comes into my Apple Health app, which pulls into the app. Great. If not, you'll type in your exercise manually. And here I'll show you on the screen. You'll have a list there. Go all the way down to the bottom, and there's a thing called Do More. Click that. You add your exercise and how intense it was, and there you go. Again, if you have the Apple Watch and you're tracking your exercise through that in your phone, it'll come in automatically. So tracking your exercise, a little confusing at first. There's no one's told me until I asked my coach, where do I track the exercises and Do More? And then suddenly I also saw it coming up from my Apple Watch as well. Make sure you don't do both because it'll double count it. The other thing that I'm not really happy at the moment about is they only give you half of the calories that you burn from an exercise. And I don't know. I don't know if I like that or not, because I think a calorie is a calorie. You burn a calorie, you eat a calorie, it's the same thing. They gave me a link to the coach gave me a link to an article which I'll post in the notes down below. But it was something about people tend to eat more, or they overestimate how much they exercise and stuff. If I'm eating more, I'll track that. If I'm not overestimating because it goes from my watch, I think that it should track the full amount of exercise you do. But for some reason, that's the way they do it. Okay, so I'll have to limit myself more on my food intake, and that's the way it is. Let's give it a try. The other thing that happens is it shows you as you go along, and I'll show you here on the screen, your number of calories that you're consuming the day and how much you have. You're allotted. For me, you can see there on the screen how much I'm allotted. It also includes my exercise that I've already did today. And as you do every 2,000 steps you take, it tracks your steps. After about day 3, it adds on 50 calories. Okay, not bad. I guess they assume your starting calories is with no activity. If you're just a couch potato and you're just looking at reducing your food. But if you're doing a lot of walking, a lot of activity, then they add 50 calories. Okay, that seems to be a good reason. It even enticed me to, for example, yesterday I needed to get a haircut. I could have taken a lift to the barber, or it was about a 15-minute walk away. I decided to do the walk to add into my overall health. So it does influence you a bit, which I find good. The other thing is, just like with MyFitnessPal, you have to track your food, as I've talked about before. The negative part about this, it's not really good, especially the icon, the bar scanner on it. I find that, for example, when I scan in, I'll show you here on the screen, Coke Zero, you have a little slider. It'll show you, one serving, and if you slide over to the how many calories, it says that Coke Zero has X amount of calories, and it doesn't make sense to me. So you have to put a little thing. There's an issue with it. Please update this. I even talked to technical support. Let's see if they get around to it. I'm not finding though that this app is as good as calories tracking for your food as the MyFitnessPal, especially around the barcode. Sometimes you have to do it manually or change it yourself. So be careful. Look at the label on the package. Make sure when you scan the barcode it matches what you're eating. I also am not a fan of, I can't see how many calories I'm allotted and how that's added up. So as you see in the app, again, I'll switch real quickly here, that you can see it just shows you total calories, but it just says, such allotted per day plus exercise plus your steps. It'd be a nice little thing to kind of say, hey, this is what you got. This is what you got because your exercise, because your step. Hey, great job. And it moves. It's a sliding scale. I guess their idea is that you're trying to make sure you're not overwhelmed by data. And as a matter of fact, they don't hit you with everything on day one. They don't say, here's what you got to do. Here you got to track your steps. Here's your exercise. Here's red, green, yellow foods, etc., etc. They kind of drip feed you this in little stories on your app and what they're about. Some are a bit corny. They got some corny jokes in there. They try to influence you and really jazz you up. Hey, great job, you weighed in today. I'm not that. Maybe the millennials need this to help them keep going. I just want the facts. Maybe they would try to keep it a little dry. I mean, less dry. They try to keep it a little lively. I got it, but I just kind of skim through the stories and learn. It's good. They got some of the stories that got the highlighted, so they give you the key points. You can just skim through it and look at the highlights and still get the story correct and the key message. That's good for me. But overall, I think what this app is trying to do is trying to keep it really simple, not overwhelm the people, and give you certain goals that you can just you're not you feel like you're achieving things. And the other part on this app, which is different than FitnessPal, MyFitnessPal, is you get a coach. It's not a phone call. It's on a chat message, as you can see here. You click the little chat message, and they'll, I don't think this person must be looking after 50, 60, 10, 100 people. Who knows? So let's see how that goes as we go future. Supposedly, after a while, you'll join a group. So again, they're drip feeding you things bit by bit. But again, I'm willing to give it a try and see how things work. Just for you, so you don't have to do it. So that's really about it. Overall, I'm feeling good with the program. It's helping me kind of get back on track. I'm wondering if it's much different than the MyFitnessPal app, which you can pay $50 a year and get no ads, or you just use ads and you can track your food. I do like some of the insights on types of food you can eat. That's good. Makes me a bit more mindful. The coach, let's see what happens. At the moment, I can give or take. It doesn't really matter. And I'm not quite hot about that. Burning calories is only tracking 50% of your exercise. It's just, to me, that's a little bit. I think that's a bit of a problem, or at least a bit of a challenge with me. Anyway, well, I'll do this for the next 4 months. See how it goes. I'll be checking in once a week, and with that, I'll see you 1 week from today.